Woke up early in the parking lot, hair all crazy, coffee still hot, stretching out slow, trying to feel alive. Another morning and we somehow survived.
Get something in our belly here this morning before we head over to Biscayne National Park.
Van packed full and the closet's tight. Same few clothes, but we're feeling alright. Got bacon and eggs with biscuits and apple butter on the side. A whole lot of road with my sweetie by my side.
Today we're gonna check off another national park. We're doing the tour, boat tour. There's a few different boat tours you can do, but this one in particular is directly from the national park. Open the blinds. A lot of people like those blinds open when we're driving.
Except when it's hot. I don't like them open because
she doesn't. She's gonna get mad.
It gets hot in here.
We can open them from up there or from the app on the phone here. Oh, but gotta have the Wi-Fi going in order to log into that from the phone. Connected to the Starlink on the roof. Now I can connect to the Garmin. Hit the blinds. Hit all blinds, and voila!
We may not know where the day will go, but first things first, let's hit the road. It's a Cracker Barrel sunrise, starting up again. Coffee in a cup, and no set plans, just life on the road in this sweet ride. Another wild morning with the views really wide. Nothing says adventure like a Cracker Barrel sunrise.
There's the AMI Homestead Motorplex.
Like a Cracker Barrel sunrise. Might find pie in a small town stop. Might need fuel, might need to swap. Might miss a turn or laugh instead. That's just van life rolling on ahead. No big house and no fancy fence, just a lot of miles and a little common sense. Sometimes goofy, sometimes tired, sometimes slightly confused, but that's okay. We'll just put it on cruise. It's a Cracker Barrel sunrise, starting up again. Coffee in a cup, and no set plans, just life on the road in this sweet ride. Another wild morning with the views really wide. Nothing says adventure like a Cracker Barrel sunrise. Another breakfast, another drive, another day feeling glad to be alive.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people parked in a bus and RV spot. Thank you.
With their cars.
With their cars. Short cars. Thank you. You took up our spots.
Somebody's not in a good mood.
Follow the road into the sky. Never let adventures pass you by. Be free and follow your crazy dreams. We're living our vision in the RV. Come ride with us and you'll be free.
So we had to park in this big long bus RV spot here because all the other spots are taken. There wasn't even a car spot, but all these RV spots down here where these cars are. And of course they parked out to the edge so that they wouldn't get blocked in. But unfortunately, people that needs those spots can't get in there. Well, there's a spot there. Well, and this one's pulling in.
On the second floor of the park store is where we are supposed to check in 30 minutes before our boat thing. But I think since we have some questions, we should probably go ahead and just go up there and ask our questions.
There are few national parks in America that reveal themselves the way Biscayne does. At first glance, from the mainland at Convoy Point, it can seem almost too quiet, too still, as if the real story is hidden somewhere beyond the shoreline. And in many ways, it is.
Is this where you check in for the boat, or is it?
It'll be right next door, so where he just opened the door, you just check in there in the gift shop.
You go in here and check in for the boat tour.
Here at Dante Facel Visitor Center, the land gives way to a world that is mostly water, a place where the history of South Florida is not just written on islands and old structures, but scattered across mangrove shores, coral reefs, hidden homesteads, and the floor of Biscayne Bay itself.
So we came out, this is the main visitor center, and then right over there is the door where you check in for your boat ride, and then at 1:15 we were supposed to meet right down here, and that's where the boat will take off. Our tour starts at 1:30. There's another boat that went out.
It left at like 8:30, I think.
Yeah, so they're supposed to be back about noon. We came early because we wanted to kind of roam around a little bit and just make sure we're here early and get to see as much as we can.
They ate, so they'll eat, as we mentioned, the stingray, sea urchin, pink shrimp, and then
It's beautiful out right now. I think it's supposed to get in the mid to low 80s today.
Yeah, like 82.
82. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Even the ground beneath this visitor center carries history. Before the park took shape here, this site was part of a segregated blacks-only beach at Homestead Bayfront during the Jim Crow era. This is not the kind of national park where you simply drive from overlook to overlook. Biscayne is 95% water, and to really understand it, you have to leave shore behind. The Biscayne National Park Institute provides eco-adventures including snorkeling at a shipwreck on the Maritime Heritage Trail and colorful coral reefs full of life, cruises to Boca Chica Key and Lighthouse, sailing on beautiful Biscayne Bay, exploring the seldom seen wonders of Jones Lagoon, and more.
Our boat has just arrived.
You and everybody in your party will board our boat. It's this one right here. It's called the Stingray, okay? If you could just say here once I call your name. Right?
Just hope this doesn't turn out like our fishing experience a few years ago.
Before we leave, we obviously got to go over some important safety stuff about our boat. Any and all emergencies, I'll tell everybody.
One of the most remarkable stories in all of Biscayne belongs to Israel Lafayette Parson Jones, an African-American pioneer whose family would become central to the history of this place. Born in North Carolina in 1858, Jones came to South Florida and eventually purchased Porgy Key in 1897 for $300. An extraordinary achievement in an era when racism, segregation, and violence sharply limited opportunity for black families in the South. Jones was known not just as a landowner, but as a respected preacher and community figure, earning the nickname Parson Jones. He and his family built a life on the Southern Keys, farming, harvesting from the land and sea, and establishing a presence that would last for generations. The family home in Porgy Key grew over time, and the Joneses became known for their hard work, resourcefulness, and business success. Long before Miami existed, this region was home to native peoples whose history in the Biscayne area stretches back more than 10,000 years. During the Ice Age, when sea levels were much lower, what is now Biscayne Bay was not a bay at all, but a broad, dry landscape where early people moved through in search of game. As the climate warmed and the sea rose, the water gradually filled in, and human life adapted with it. By about 2,500 years ago, the people of this region had become more settled, leaving behind shell middens and evidence of communities that archaeologists now connect to the Glades culture and later to the Tequesta, the indigenous people of southeast Florida. For the Tequesta and those who came before them, this was never a barrier between land and sea. It was a living corridor, a place for fishing, travel, trade, and survival. What looks to modern visitors like open tropical beauty was, for thousands of years, a homeland. And because rising seas swallowed older shorelines, archaeologists believe some of Biscayne's earliest human history may now rest underwater, hidden beneath the bay itself.
Fish bones, white-tailed deer bones, even manatee bones are found in these shell middens that date back thousands of years.
Spanish and English explorers passed through this region. Pirates and smugglers became part of local legend. Ships traveling the Florida coast faced reefs, storms, and shifting channels, and many never made it through. Today, Biscayne preserves the remains of dozens of shipwrecks, including those along the park's Maritime Heritage Trail, where 6 wreck sites and Fowey Rocks Lighthouse help tell the story of how dangerous and important these waters once were.
Parking here for the committee of 100. Please take a seat for docking. Beach directly across the quay. Got hermit crabs and all kinds of little shells. Just remember we're in a national park. We're only taking pictures and leaving footprints. And of course our park sign is right here on the seawall.
We're going to go up to the lighthouse. It had been closed. So it's nice that it's open now. So we're going to get to go up there. Check that out.
A good perk.
Yeah, look at all the boats in here. I'm sorry, go ahead.
So far, we are enjoying this. It's been great. A lot of good history that we've learned. And
yeah, coming out on the Atlantic, the ocean was pretty flat, too. That was, thank goodness.
yeah. And yeah,
Look at all
really good day for it.
Look at all these boats.
Biscayne's history is not only a story of pioneers and preservation, it is also a story of ambition. As South Florida boomed in the early 20th century, developers and wealthy industrialists looked at these islands and saw playgrounds. Boca Chita Key became one of the most famous examples. The island had already seen recreational development in the 1910s and 1920s. But after earlier structures were destroyed in the 1926 hurricane, the key entered its most iconic chapter when Mark C. Honeywell, founder of Honeywell Industries, bought the island in 1937. He and his wife, Olive, transformed Boca Chita into an extravagant private retreat for elite Miami society. What Honeywell built here was not just a weekend getaway. It was a performance of wealth and style in the middle of Biscayne Bay. The couple kept an earlier house on the island, then added a chapel, pavilion, engine house, garage, seawalls, walkways, and most famously, the 65-foot limestone lighthouse, designed by the noted Miami architectural firm of August Geiger. Despite how it looks, the lighthouse was largely ornamental, not a true navigational aid. One popular story says the Coast Guard shut it down after its first lighting, but historians note the structure appears to never have had the hardware needed for a real beacon, suggesting it was decorative from the beginning. And yet that ornamental tower became the symbol of Boca Chita. Honeywell and Olive arrived in style, bringing guests on yachts and reportedly greeting them with cannon fire. Their parties became legendary, annual charity events filled with Miami's social elite. One historical account even notes a photograph showing an elephant at one of the celebrations. After Olive died in 1939, Honeywell gradually lost interest in the island and sold the property in 1945. But the image of Boca Chita as a glamorous island retreat never disappeared. Today, the historic district on the Key remains one of the clearest windows into that era of South Florida luxury and spectacle. Approaching Boca Chica Key by water is easy to understand why this place leaves such an impression. The harbor, the stonework, the palms, and that tower rising above the shoreline all feels almost cinematic, like a scene preserved from another Florida. According to the National Park Service, Boca Chica remains the park's most visited island, and the observation deck of that 65-foot lighthouse offers sweeping views of the islands, bay, ocean, and even the Miami skyline.
To change the light bulb, which there's no light.
Tiny squares. Much worse one.
Thankfully, they do have restrooms.
Yes.
So this is called Shell Beach. Shell.
It's my beach.
When we go to beaches, it's one of the things we love to do is just pick up the shells and just look at the different patterns they all have. It's amazing when you think about it.
It's a cardinal. Clear out here.
Okay, now that was pretty cool to see a cardinal clear
way
out
out
here. And usually you can't get that close to them, and if you do, they're not there very long, but it stayed there, sung to us, chattered to us, and didn't take off flying until after we started walking away.
There's hermit crabs in here. I just saw them moving.
Oh, there's a hole. One lives right
Yeah.
there.
There's several. Go walk out there.
Say, why? You go walk out there.
Oh, there he is. They're too crabby. They went on in their homes. You might want to bring snacks. Just saying. Water for sure.
This park protects a rare combination of coral reefs, mangrove shorelines, bay waters, fisheries, and undeveloped keys in the northernmost Florida Keys and southern Biscayne Bay. But the reason it still looks this way is because in the mid-20th century, people fought to keep it from becoming something very different. In the 1950s and 1960s, powerful development schemes threatened the area, including resort communities, roads, large-scale dredging, a proposed industrial seaport called Sea-Dade, and even plans to create a massive jet port by dredging 8,000 acres of bay bottom. In 1961, landowners even voted to create the city of Islanda, hoping to transform these islands through development. What followed was one of South Florida's defining preservation battles. A coalition of conservationists, writers, local residents argued for something radical at the time. A national park that would protect not just land, but an entire marine world. Public support grew thanks to people like Congressman Dante Fascell. Even the destruction of part of Elliott Key, known as Spite Highway, only strengthened the fight to protect the area, leading to Biscayne becoming a national monument in 1968 and later a national park in 1980.
That was worth it.
Highly recommend their Heritage Cruise tour, I guess you would call
Yeah.
it.
You know, I think I enjoyed that more than I enjoyed the dry Tortugas.
Oh,
Did you?
I did, 100%. I did, yeah.
Yeah, especially for the price.
Yeah, well, yeah. But Jana was,
Janet and Captain Tony.
yeah, she was like more the crew
Yeah.
helper or whatever.
A lot of really good information.
Yeah.
A lot of good history. More than we're going to provide in this video probably, but did a really, really good job.
Call it a day and celebrate. Let's celebrate. Call it a day. Let's celebrate. Call it a day and celebrate. Let's celebrate. Call it a day.
Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, click that little bell, and hit that thumbs up.
Call it a day.
See you next week.